Good morning, Dan Earhart with the rest of the news. Friday, March the 2nd, Texas Independence Day, the day of the Declaration from Mexico in 1836. And it's the day of the first of two recording sessions that yielded Miles Davis' Kind of Blue in 1959 at Columbia's 30th Street studio in New York. Bill Evans played piano, Jimmy Cobb drums, Paul Chambers on bass, John Coltrane and Cannonball Adderley, blue sax. Quadruple platinum, it may be the biggest-selling jazz album of all time. Spring is busting out like mad here in Texas right now. And look for the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. to bloom earlier than usual this year, too. It all began 100 years ago, in 1912, when the mayor of Tokyo gifted our nation's capital 3,000 cherry trees. Now, 100 years on, the peak is expected in about 3 weeks. That's 2 weeks earlier than what is, or used to be considered, usual. Climate change was a fact of life 25 million years ago, too, and may be to blame for the demise of the largest penguins to ever roam the earth. Penguins, 4.5 feet tall, 130 pounds, described as elegant with a slender body, long flippers, and thick, short legs. Imagine one walking up and shaking hands. Well, J.K. Rowling is growing up with her fans. She's got a new book deal, imagine that, for an adult book. No, not that adult book. There's no details or release date, but a neighbor in Edinburgh tweets that he thinks it's a mystery. In the past week, the War on Women initiative has received over $1 million in donations, says the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. Nancy Pelosi said the DCCC has almost 500,000 signatures on a petition against the assault on women's rights. Nationally, women receive 77 cents for a dollar's work paid a man. In Wisconsin, it's 75 cents. So 2 years ago, the legislature in Madison passed the Equal Pay Enforcement Act to deter employers from discriminating. Now, the body has changed hands, hearts, and minds, and has passed new legislation to eliminate that Equal Pay Act, and Governor Scott Walker is expected to sign it. However, a new poll is showing Walker trailing two likely Democratic opponents in the probable recall election expected later this year. From Phoenix, just can't let it go, Sheriff Joe wades in even deeper. He's already under investigation by the Justice Department for widespread discrimination against Latinos. Now, news this morning that Arpaio says that his office has found that President Barack Obama's birth certificate is a forgery. 6 months ago, he started a little 5-member volunteer cold case posse to look into the president's birth certificate, and now he states that the long form is a computer-generated fraud. The sheriff denies this is politically motivated, nor does he say how the posse made their determination. The new look looks like the old look now that Google links shared information among Search, Gmail, and YouTube. So, say for example, you play The Israelites by Desmond Decker and the Aces on YouTube. Well, you can look out for Jamaican cruise ship ads to pop up who knows where. Who cares? We're all used to it by now. Privacy? What's that? Andrew Breitbart was 43, but just barely. His birthday was February 1st. Night before last, seems he walked to his neighborhood bar, the Brentwood, sat down at an empty bar stool next to a complete stranger, and then proceeded to drink wine and talk politics for 2 hours. Then, walking home, he collapsed and died. He did not drink and drive. The fellow sitting at the bar next to him said Breitbart was friendly, and they agreed that they weren't going to agree on everything. And that, friends, is how to stay out of a bar fight. Have a great weekend and see you next week. Dan Earhart, the rest of the news.